everyone, I'm Kelsey.
And I'm JPatt, and you're listening to the Box Officers Podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. Please continue to support us by leaving us a star or a rating, a review, wherever you're listening to this episode. Watching a bad movie is like witnessing a serious crime, but have no fear. The box officers are here for each episode. Kelsey, George, who's absent right now, and I will review a new movie at the end of each episode, and we will classify the film according to the severity of punishment.
Yes, so films can be convicted of a felony, a misdemeanor, an infraction, or on the rare occasion found innocent. This week, we are not going to be reviewing a movie. We're going to review a limited series, or I guess anthology, whatever, Monster, the Ed Gein Story. So,
Game series.
yeah, if you have not seen this, go watch it. Viewers' discretion advised.
I'm surprised that this was Rotten Tomatoes 19%. Really? I'm surprised that it was like that low.
19 is really harsh.
Yeah,
There's no grace given over there. I was a little surprised too. I didn't think it would be super high, but that's really, really, really low. And I didn't know what to think about that. I will say, I wasn't super familiar with everybody on this cast, but some of them I was. And I thought that was really cool. But obviously, the leading man, Charlie Hunnam, or
yeah,
Hunnam,
yeah. Did it
he
really good.
is phenomenal. Watching the show, I was like, oh, cool, whatever. He's doing a great job. But then I saw a picture of that man in real life just doing his thing. I
Yeah,
said, whoa, what's happening? I don't know if it's prosthetics. I don't know what makeup artist did all of this. Whoever's responsible, give them a
hmm
raise because that was magic. That doesn't even look like the same person.
right. Yeah, he played his role nicely.
For sure. So I was not really like sure if we were going to review this or not, but I literally, okay, so we reviewed that documentary earlier
hmm
about unknown number and it went over really well. And so I said we should do another, this is a little different. It's so fictionalized, but we should do something else. Boy, oh boy. If I had known then what I know now after watching it, I don't know if I would have recommended it. I obviously
Yeah,
told you guys to
especially
watch
you.
it before I actually watched it myself.
Mm.
And that's my fault. I am pretty scared, horror movies and stuff. But I'm very like, I don't like spirits and demons and people getting possessed and stuff like that. But I've always been okay with people getting murdered. Like, I'm not okay with people dying, but I'm just saying,
Oh,
like, I can watch.
they're gonna clip that. They're gonna clip that.
I do not support murder at all. But I can watch a movie knowing that that might happen to somebody and it not be the reason I turn the movie off. But this was beyond me. This was like anything
Yeah,
I've ever seen before.
it's a mix of like I know like you like your true crime, but you like a mix of
Yes.
but this was like a mix of like horror and true crime. Really, it was like more like body horror,
Yeah,
you
which
know? Yeah.
not my favorite thing.
hmm
We never reviewed the movie together, but I was dragged by my ponytail to go watch it. And I actually ended up really liking it, but I'm not going to lie, it made me uncomfortable because of the body horror aspect. I never watched The Substance because I was like concerned a little bit about the body horror aspect, but seems like something that people are really getting into nowadays. But apparently they've always been into it because
I think so. Yeah.
Ed, he kind of inspired some movies from before, like Psycho and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Silence of the Lambs,
Yeah.
all disgusting, timeless, I guess, maybe iconic.
Especially for
But
that time.
yeah, did you ever watch American Horror Story?
I watched like the first season of it like 5 years ago. Yeah, like the very first
Really?
season with the what was going on?
Murder
I know they
House,
were,
I think.
yeah, Murder House, yeah. And they were ghosts too, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I never watched the seasons after that. It wasn't bad. It's like it was just something that I didn't catch up on, you know what I mean? so I never got
Yeah.
to watch the rest of those seasons. American Horror Story is pretty cool because it's kind of like an anthology, right?
Yeah.
Like you have
Yeah.
these different stories every season. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've seen like all of it, and American Horror Story Asylum kind of takes some inspo from him too, which I was
Mm,
unaware of until, I watched this. And when you think about it, there's like I don't know if he was a psychiatrist or like therapist kind of character, whatever, on that season. And
yeah,
he was also like kind of obsessed with his mother, and like there was something with, I don't know if, I can't remember. It was something like related to like the
yeah.
mutilation of others. And yeah, so Ed inspired a lot. But we could talk about it from a well, just watching it. What did you think? Like, because I think I warned you. I said, "Hey, I've seen a few episodes. I just want to let y'all know, if you don't want to review this anymore, we don't have to. It's okay."
Yeah,
But you guys were down to keep watching. So what'd you
yeah.
think?
It was like to me, it was just creepy. It was awkward, nasty. Like
Yeah.
even within like the first like 5, 10 minutes, like him being in his mother's dress and getting off to that. That's when I was like Kelsey, what did you get us into? You know what I'm saying? But besides that, I kind of heard of the story a couple times just from YouTube. True crime videos I've come across, but seeing it put into a high budget production and all of that by the same people who made the whole thing about what's his name, Jeffrey something.
Yeah, Dahmer.
Yeah, yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer, the same people who made that.
And the
It
Menendez brother
was.
one, if you saw that.
Oh yeah, yeah, Menendez. Yeah, I did see the Menendez brother. Yeah, that one too. Was pretty cool. And I think seeing it put together like that instead of just kind of like hearing about the facts and data, was pretty cool. Because of course they're gonna dramatize it, but I've only heard about that story just based off of facts and not like a drama type of thing.
It felt like really caught off guard because I actually was not really familiar with him at all. And so I didn't know what I was getting into. I just thought he was a serial killer, which is horrible. That's a bad thing, but this was explicit, and it was really like weird in a weird way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
I just wasn't expecting that. And I was not prepared for the level of detail that they were going to go into. I guess I should have been somewhat prepared because I did watch the Monster Dahmer story thing. And
hmm
it was a little bit, there was a lot. But
It's
this is
definitely a lot.
like wearing them is a
Yeah,
lot
wearing
for
their
me.
skin. Yeah,
It's already a lot to see a head in a freezer, but this is like you're
yeah.
wearing people. That's
And
new for me.
crazy thing is he kind of, I guess, technically wasn't a serial killer based off of like just facts and data from like the real life situation,
Hmm.
but he was digging up people's graves and then using their body or skin for whatever. I think he killed like two people total, but then the rest were just bodies that he was like just like digging up, which is nasty to me. Like I mean, like it's decaying and everything. And not, no, I'm not saying that I can understand if it was fresh, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's yeah. Yeah, he had a freaky mind. And I also like how the series kind of dove into the effects of what happened after his case. Kind of like the whole thing with Alfred, Hitchcock, and you get to see different plot lines in it.
That
Yeah.
was interesting, and I do have thoughts on that. I won't forget them. But yeah, I thought it was a unique choice to make because, again, I didn't know about his impact, like pop culture
hmm
wise, for lack of better words. And he had a big one, and I think it was very relevant. And it was interesting the way that they would flip back and forth between like what was happening in the moment and what was happening in the movies. I will say that at times I was like trying to keep up. It was a lot going on. It was a lot going on, but it's still interesting to learn. I learned a lot. I learned some new things. What was the part that made you feel the most uncomfortable? This
I
is turning
think,
into a true crime podcast.
yeah. Well, like I said, like within the 5, 10 minutes, first 5, 10 minutes, yeah, that was uncomfortable to me. I mean, shoot, there's a whole lot.
He said it
There's a
immediately.
yeah. Yeah, immediately. There's
It
a
just
whole lot,
got
I
worse.
haven't really, yeah, I didn't really rank it. I just kind of tried to forget it. You know what I'm saying? but I guess it would be the whole like weird inward stuff. I'm not sure we could say it. I don't know if they'll like demonetize you or something, or like you know,
For
the World War II,
yeah,
all like yeah, the little weird stuff like that, and
trying to think what N word.
yeah,
Okay,
and
I gotcha.
I think definitely in a comfortable like spot, like his mom's like dead body, like her like new dead body. I'm just like, how does like what kind of freaky mind you have to like do that to your mom's body, you know? So that'll probably be the most uncomfortable part for me. Did not like
Yeah,
that.
at all. I was gonna say, like, yeah, every time I thought that it was gonna be like, oh, that's the worst that can happen, it got worse and worse and worse and worse every single time. I would say something that was just uniquely, I don't know. I think that's when I texted you guys and I was like, oh, we actually don't have to do it. Was like the furniture. Insane. Like the chairs. I don't know what it
Yeah,
is
the
about the chairs.
chair.
It
There was like
really
a chair
upset
with
me. And
a
like,
nipple on it.
like the
Yeah, yeah, that did
like
something.
and the lamp shades and
Mm.
stuff like that. Like I literally, I don't know. I guess I don't know. Maybe I
What
should have read
upset
a
me, what
newspaper
upset
article
me
about him
was,
beforehand.
or what upset me was the girl walking into the house and not just catching on. Like honestly, as soon as she saw the dirty house, she should have just been like, "Okay, I'm gonna go." Like, did you like him that much?
Yes.
Then you see a nipple in the
Yeah.
chair, and like
Like
that's definitely a human nipple. Why'd you think it was from a cow? Like, yeah, it was stuff
yeah.
like that. And I was like, come on. I think I text you something
Adeline.
like that. Yeah, I was like, she has the survival skills. It's the survival skills of something.
Yeah. Adeline, she literally, so played by Susanna's son, who did phenomenal. Nothing
Mhm.
against Susanna. She really did her big one. Adeline, as a person, though, which I will say, apparently a lot of her part was fictionalized. Like, a lot.
Okay.
To the point where we don't even know if they dated for real. There was a point I saw where they said that she, like, a newspaper article from back then, she did, like, she spoke with a journalist and she told him like her and her mother thought he was a nice man, like they were going together for most of like 2 decades, like she was really
Hmm.
knowing him. Then like 2 weeks later she's like, they over exaggerated what I said, like that journalist, and she's like, that's not
Yeah.
true at all, I didn't know him for real. She's like, we hung out maybe 2 times and that was it, and I've never been to his house, and basically it was like, I don't know that man.
She
So it's
immediately
hard to
started
know.
denying.
Yeah, so it's hard to know. I think it's probably somewhere in the middle, but she, I don't think that she was engaged to him or anything like that. Um, which I think artistically or creatively, maybe they did all of that to try to show us more of his thoughts, like through his interactions with her character. You can kind of learn about him. So maybe that was
Right.
like the purpose in all of that. But it's kind of messed up because that was a real woman. So if I hadn't gone on my own, like, Google search afterwards, I would have definitely thought that woman was, dare I say, maybe
Hmm.
one of the real villain. He's the real villain. He was the one doing
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
he's also schizophrenic, so I can see how somebody might end up in that situation. Not excusing it at all, but we can explain what happened with her. Girl, what was your excuse? And I'm talking about her as a character
Nope.
now.
Yeah.
Going in that house, you see that his mother is dead. She's dead. And you're still with him for years after. You told him to basically sleep with dead people while you go to New York. You told him to do that. That's something not right. It's not
And
right.
she's a little sick with it.
And she's the one who gave him the. So I guess, like, they're hypothesizing that the reason he got into all of this is because, like, something snapped in his head when he saw those images, like,
Yeah, definitely.
that she gave. And again, we don't know, like, real life, like, what happened. But for the show, yeah, she's crazy for even having that. Like, you're weird. That's weird.
Yeah, I could definitely see her. I mean, she was the weird type, you know, so maybe that's why they had a bit of an attraction there, apparently. But like, I know for a fact from when it comes to his real life, like his mother was like the fire and brimstone type of religious, and she was very controlling. dominant, and she was dominant even over the father, because the father was a mess, a drunkard. All he would really do was just like work and drink, and then he would abuse the boys in some type of way, like discipline, but harsher, like actually like smacking them around, you know what I'm saying? So I think, because you saw how his brother turned out. Like they lived under that same household, but his brother started to push away from his mother's like dominance. It was kind of like, hey, little bro, like let's get our stuff together. Like we're at this big age. I've met a girl that I really like, and I'm planning to move out with her. And that's canonically, or real life wise, that's what set them apart, to where like Ed, he was like, no, like what are you doing? Like we have to listen to mom and this and that. But his brother was like, no, like I'm through with this. So there must have been something that just kind of like, came loose in his head at some point, because he got severely attached to his mom. He just wanted her approval all the time. And I mean, to the point where it is speculated that he actually did kill his brother. Now, in the show, they show that he killed his brother. But in real life, it's kind of like a speculation. They're not 100% sure. All they can really base that off of is bruises on the back of his head. But, really, like,
Mm-hmm.
who knows? But a lot of people are like, okay, he most likely did kill his brother, which is why they included it in
Yeah.
the show. But yeah, I at some point, from that abuse they took as children, something just came loose in his head that made him start acting funny and schizophrenic. Like I think even as a child, he's a little schizophrenic and off-putting. He was a misfit among other kids. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, those things
yeah.
normally get like worse at a certain point. Sometimes something triggers it, but sometimes it's just like age.
Hmm.
But they said that he was smart, like in the sense that like IQ wise, I guess, but that development stage wise, I guess he was still stuck in childhood in terms of,
She.
I don't know, maybe more emotionally type. But I think all of those things are factors into how he ended up in that situation. And that's just one of those things where like isolation isn't good for anyone. You lose your mother and you've like kind of idolized her. Things get crazy. Not that crazy. It should have never got this crazy, but a little bit crazy. And I know that like the whole thing with the chainsaws, like that never happened. And so I think again they were just trying to show like the connection to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but that's super dangerous at times too, because it does feel like you need to, someone else said like you need to watch the documentary before you go and watch something that Ryan Murphy makes, because you're gonna be like very misled, because he's just coming up with stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah,
he's
I
just
would
throwing
love
it out
to.
there.
I Yeah, and I'm like, I want the definition of a serial killer, because like how
Hmm.
many people do you have to kill for it to be a serial killer, or like what's the criteria? Because like you said, he wasn't really killing people um often. I think he killed confirmed two and maybe his brother, so possibly three.
Right.
That's three more than he should have killed. However,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it came off initially as if he was like a slasher or something, and that's just not what was happening.
That's really from the influence of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff. Like I think
Yeah.
even in a promo, it was like before there was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or before there were Silence of the Lambs, there was, and then it says Ed Gein, Monster series or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I saw that.
I feel like a lot of people know more about those movies than they do about Ed Gein, honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I did for sure.
Hmm.
And I know some people were like, "Oh my gosh, like that reminded me of like that guy Norman Bates." And it's like, "Well, yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
does, doesn't
Yeah,
it?"
yeah. I I actually had
So,
no idea because I watched the Norman Bates kind of like Netflix
the
series. I
show,
forget what it was called. Yeah, the show. I watched the show.
Bates
Shoot, I still
Motel,
need
right?
a Bates Motel. Yeah, I still need to finish it because it was really good. I really liked it, but I had no idea that it was based upon Psycho, which I've never seen. But I had no idea that it was based upon that movie, which was pretty cool to me. I was like, oh wow, like
It is cool.
yeah, shoot, yeah, it goes way back to the 60s.
Yeah. So, my thing is, when you think about this
Hmm.
as a show,
Hmm.
isn't it a little, I don't know, some of this, and we're part of the problem, we all watched it, but it's kind of problematic sometimes Ryan Murphy does this thing where he can like romanticize almost these bad guys. I think there's
I
a
hated
really,
that.
really, really thin line between like humanizing someone
Yeah,
and even then, I understand it. I get it. It's like, it
yeah,
challenges you kind of as a viewer, and that's fine. But it's almost like, I don't know. In the end, by episode like 7 or something, I almost felt sorry for him, especially when I was sitting there watching him in the, like, I don't know, asylum or wherever he was, in the
hmm,
mental hospital. And he is talking to the psychiatrist, and they're like, no, like, you're schizophrenic, by the way. This man is
yeah,
old by now, and nobody's ever told him this. Nobody's ever helped him. And you could see he's saying like something's wrong with me. And he was like, I don't think it's ever gonna get fixed. He was like, something's wrong with my head. That would make anybody kind of feel, yeah, that's sad, especially when it seems
yeah,
like because he was serious. He was like, I don't remember killing anyone. He's like, probably happened, but he was like, I don't remember that. I didn't want to do that. And I feel confused. And that's just such a sad feeling. Like, that's such, I don't know. Now
yeah,
just mental health in general. Anytime people are like losing their minds and they're genuinely confused and they're just like, I don't want to be like this, but their brain literally can't help it, and they're seeing people and they're hearing voices and talking. That's just such a sad thing to me. So I'm like,
yeah,
I felt bad for him, and I
yeah.
couldn't help but think like if he had gotten medical treatment, of course it was a different time, so there was only so much available. But like, had he gotten that help, would he have done these things?
Yeah.
I'd like to think he wouldn't. But then it's like, okay, that's a cool thought, but he still
I
did these
can
things, and
like,
that's horrible. So
yeah,
it's like, are we like lifting up this monster, for lack of better words? It's such
yeah.
a weird space to think
I
in.
feel I feel bad for him in the sense that okay, he had some type of like, what's the word? I wouldn't say accountability, but I guess it's just his way of thinking. He's kind of like, this is something that can't be fixed. He's not saying that he was innocent in it all. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of
Right.
like, okay, I must have done this, and I don't think it's something that can be fixed. You know, it's kind of like just honesty with himself. I could see having a little bit of like sympathy for him in that way, because it's kind of like, poor soul, just the way he was raised and everything else that went on, it's kind of crazy. Even when you look at the case in real life, like I think at one point he or his lawyer or whatever kind of like made an argument that when he was taking these bodies out of their graves, he was in a out of body state. Like he didn't know what he was doing, what was going on in his head. Okay, you can argue that, but you can't argue ripping the bodies apart and taking the time to make furniture and other things out of those body parts. You can't just be out of it to do all of that and on top of that kill two people, in cold blood and just because they remind you of your mother. Oh, you remind me of your mother, so I want to wear your skin because I want to be my mother. I could get the schizophrenic part, but I feel like there was also a part of him that had a type of like a what's the word? Just an arousal to it, and therefore
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like a guilty pleasure in a sense, where he was feeding into it. Like it's kind of like okay,
Yeah.
there's something wrong with me, but at times that he would be totally conscious about the stuff he's doing. You know.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say because schizophrenia is like such a wild disease,
Yeah.
it's such a wild mental illness, but at the same time it's like there has to be some accountability. You come out of it at some point, you know. Even if you came out
Right.
of it
Yeah.
and you realize what you've done, like why is there a body split open in front of me? That's when you're like, I need to go seek help. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you can't wait to have that type of accountability until after you're chained up in a mental asylum. So, yep.
Yeah. And I think you're right, cuz he's always been like, he doesn't remember the killing part and he doesn't want to kill anybody, and they would say like he never gave off the impression he would hurt anyone. But he always maintained that he was taking those bodies out the grave. He was like, "Oh yeah, I did that."
Yeah. Yeah.
So you could
I
kind
think
of
they even
tell like what
yeah. I
parts
think they even
were
asked him at one
more
point,
him.
like, they were like, why didn't you make love to those, dead bodies? And he was just kind of like just so in his own reality, he was like, oh, it's because they stink. Like that was his answer. It's like you didn't want to make love to those bodies because they stink, not because they're dead bodies of people
Yeah,
deceased, and that's immoral and disgusting. It's nah, they just stink. So
yeah,
I wasn't gonna do that. Yeah, and
yeah.
and to your point about people romanticizing, that was a big problem with the Monster series for Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah, uh,
Huge. Like,
yeah, yeah,
especially you got Evan Peters playing this guy. Like, come on. Like,
yeah.
you set us up.
And
Okay.
no, yeah, and I saw somebody. It was a YouTube video I saw, and they were kind of like going over the actual case, like a true crime YouTube channel, and they were like, "I, I hope they don't romanticize him in the movie because they put the YouTube video out before the series dropped. So they were like, I hope they don't romanticize him in the series because I guess the director has a track record of, doing that in his
Yeah.
series. Yeah, but
Yeah, Ryan Murphy, that man scares me, honestly. And it shows up in all of his work in one way or another. And I think
mm,
that you can't even just blame him because you think about a movie like Psycho or something like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all of these things being inspired by this man who himself he never seemed to really condone his behavior. I mean, I don't know if it's like reflective of what happened in real life, but at least in the series at the end, he's like, yeah, like I know something's wrong with me. Like I have these tendencies. But he's like, I don't necessarily think it's right. He's like, I know it's wrong, and I know I need
hmm
to take my medication, and I know I need to do these things. And he was like, I accept that that's weird. And for him to be saying that, and then other people to be like writing him like love letters and all of this stuff, and he even
yeah,
said in the series, he's like, this isn't anything. He's like, it's not the same as having like a real person that cares about you. He's like, who cares about all these random letters from these people who are whatever, and I think it does show up with Dahmer and the Menendez brothers and everything, and this just kind of a series like this does kind of research that for people. I mean, there's always going to be people obsessed with these stories, but you put something like this out,
hmm
it does kind of cause things to resurface. And for him to have all these movies made, kind of based on him and his actions, it's kind of like, are y'all not realizing? Like, I get it. I get the correlation. But it's like, why were we so set on making that? Why were we so set on
yeah,
showing this to people? But then again, it's like people are watching it. Obviously, we watched this one. So it goes both ways.
yeah,
If
yeah.
we were all to stop watching it, they would stop making it. So it's not my favorite part of projects like this. And I think sometimes people take it too far and they start to fall in love with these people, and it's just like the series is still called Monster. Let's just
Yeah,
stay
it's still
there.
a monster because it kind of like reveals the freak in some people, and I'm like, oh, you like that?
Yeah.
And then I just look at them differently because it's a little like, okay, maybe you should go to jail too, Is that like
Yeah. Yeah,
why?
literally. And the show shows that too, like,
hmm
people writing letters and doing all this stuff after, and it's just like, oh, like, or going to the estate to buy things from this
Yeah.
auction. It's like, y'all, y'all are also monsters, plural. There was more
Okay.
than just one, because that's weird. But what would it's hard again. We keep doing these things that are based on real life, so it's hard to like evaluate the story, but you can talk about the storytelling or just like the series in general. We do have to make a verdict.
Definitely.
Time to take
Yeah.
Ed Gein to court again.
I'm thinking I'd give the series as a whole. I think I'd probably give it a solid infraction. I'd probably give it a good little solid infraction on the series as a whole. It's not really one of my favorite true crime cases anyways. I did like the production and it caught my attention at times. Like, okay, I had a good attention span with it throughout a lot of the series, but then sometimes it would fall off a bit, and then other times, I'd be like, "Wow, like what is going on?" You know what I'm saying? So I would give it an infraction simply because just based off, I think it could have been done better, but I'm okay with how it was done. It's not like it'd be different if this was a true crime case that I was like super looking forward to, but it's just one that I knew
Mm-hmm.
of and then never heard about it again, except for the actual like media that is inspired by it, like Texas Chainsaw
Right.
Massacre or Psycho or whatever. So Honestly, they honestly could have gone with a different true crime thing for the whole documentary series, monster series or whatever. But this was good. It was solid. It was a good little add on into the anthology. Overall, I'd give it like a little 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. I'm cool with it. But yeah, what do you think?
Have to give them a misdemeanor because I'm so
Hmm.
sorry. I think 19% on Rotten Tomatoes is a bit harsh, but
Yeah, it's Irish.
39% seems reasonable. I think the only good thing about it, not the only, but like maybe the only good thing about it was the acting. Everybody ate. And I would say even Addison Rae being in there at first, I was like, here we go again. Lovely girl, but I was unsure. She did a good job, and I'm not mad at it at all. And obviously Charlie did his biggest one ever.
Hmm.
Laurie Metcalf, who played the mother, Augusta, ate. Everybody ate. Everybody ate. But yet I was still hungry because it was crazy with one, the flashbacks and the time jumps and the flash forward. We are bouncing around. I'm gonna need you to focus. I can't even like, and it was just so many of those. And then in a show where you're also at times trying to portray, like, give us insight into what, if you're saying he's schizophrenic and you're trying to give us insight into what he might be seeing at the time, that's already another like realm
Hmm.
that we're watching from as a viewer. And it was just too much. It was too busy, and I don't know what better way to do that would have been, like storyboard wise, but I think there was a better way to do it. And then on top of that, this is like borderline like murder porn at a point. It's not serving the story to like show some of these things. It's just not necessary. I think you could have shocked me by saying there's a box of vulvas on a table without showing it to me like 5 times over the course of the series. I don't think it was necessary. I think you're
Yeah,
trying to get like shock value. Congratulations. Consider
just
me
amended
shocked.
that.
But yeah, and stuff like that constant. And there are times where like it served a purpose, and there were a lot of times where it was just like somebody was being weird behind the camera. Somebody was trying to, again, it could have been for shock value, but I think a lot of it is just like when you look at it across different seasons of a show or work from a director, it comes off as like you are the thing you seek to destroy.
Hmm.
And I thought there were cool things. I never watched the show Mindhunter, but I know a lot of people did. And I'm not going to start it because I know it got canceled, right? But I think the last episode kind of mimicked that show. That's cool. But the last episode, I'm going to argue, was not necessary. Why are we focusing on Ted Bundy? And Ed Gein never helped solve
You're
that
right.
case. So why was that even necessary? And I really think it might have just been because people are upset Mindhunter got canceled.
Uh,
And I think they were like, well, we'll give them a Mindhunter episode and
yeah.
threw it in there. It just didn't fit with the rest of the story. And it should have ended with him. And then it got repetitive. We had these weird montages of him, like, with these people singing and dancing and the lights and him in the wheelchair. And that happened like 2 or 3 times. And I was just like, what are we
Yeah.
doing here? That last episode was a waste of time. And there was a lot of moments where I was on the edge of my seat, like you said. There was a lot where I wasn't. And it just felt like really dragged out, and dragged out like in a very, like I said, I feel like y'all wanted to watch that. Some of y'all made that so you could watch it back later, because it was just a lot and it wasn't necessary. A lot of it just went really far, and
Hmm.
it wasn't done well. If you're gonna do all that, I need the show to like be tens across the board, and it wasn't. If you take that away, it was quite boring, which is why I said like it's probably just, it's them trying to make it interesting, but like
Hmm.
it didn't help. I just was like uncomfortable for like 5 minutes, and then it went back. But it's nothing on my guy Charlie. Give him an Emmy quickly. That man deserves the world. He did
Did do
his
good.
a masterclass performance.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna have to be a misdemeanor for me.
Yeah.
I
That's
just didn't
fair.
like it all that much.
Yeah, that's fair. And I'm thinking like
I heard they're doing Lizzie Borden next.
Lizzie Borden. Oh, let me see. That sounds
You know,
familiar.
Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her father
Oh,
40 whacks,
axe
and
murders.
when she saw what she had done, she gave her mother 41, or I think I switched the order of the parents, but something like that. You've never heard that song?
I did not know the song. No, damn, you know.
Yeah, she's like, she killed her parents with an axe.
That's it.
A lot of people were saying there's like, yeah, well, yes, and that's
Yeah.
horrible. But yeah, I think a lot of people were saying the same thing though. They were like, there are so many women like Black Widows out there, like just women serial killers who were really doing things, and Lizzie killed her parents, and you guys are
Yeah.
gonna make this whole thing about her. But I think they're doing it on her because of the way that she killed her parents. She literally, you've never seen someone take an axe to another person like the way she did.
Damn,
She was upset.
It went crazy.
I think she hit them each like over 40 times with an axe.
Dang, okay.
You don't have to
a
do
little
that.
overboard.
It was done a long time ago. She just kept going. So I think that's why. I watched like a Lifetime, like, I don't know, I think it was a movie over her a while ago. Anyways, it was done tastefully, and I still got the message. They got the message across, and it looked nothing like what we just saw. But it was interesting. These FX people, the people who do the special effects, well, they're gonna get something from this. So good for them, honestly. Crazy,
sure they will.
crazy work though.
Yeah.
I
It was
hope
crazy
everybody
effort to put
got
into it.
like, I don't know, free therapy or something after this. I feel like that has to, I don't know, I feel like that messes you up a little bit. You need to
That
talk
sure
to
would.
someone quickly.
Yeah, I sure would, because I mean, you have to work around that stuff every day. Nah, that's nasty. I feel like this
Crazy.
series was more focused towards the body horror, you know. I mean, I feel like Jeffrey Dahmer's was too, but to me, his case is a bit more interesting than this one. This one wasn't, it didn't stick out as much to me, and I feel like they made it as interesting as they could, you know. But there are just things that could have been better. But I give it an infraction. But your misdemeanor is fair. I'll say that. It's fair enough. But
Thank you, thank you.
yeah. Are we going to tell the audience what we have next?
We are. So, next Wednesday on the Box Officers podcast, we're going to be reviewing Tron Ares. And, you know, we'll see what it's giving. I've actually never seen any of the other movies, so I have to do my homework this week. It's going to be a busy week for me. But I'm excited to see what's up. I like the lights.
Yeah.
I'll give
Now
them that.
people have been saying that they've been wanting another yeah, people have been saying that they want another Tron movie, but I've heard that some folks are disappointed after waiting so long. So it might be something that it's like to each their own, or it might be something that's kind of like bad across the board. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
If we're disappointed, they'll hear about it.
Yeah.
And
You guys will
yeah,
hear about it.
well, you know, you guys, yes, right here on the Box Officers podcast. So we are very grateful that everyone tuned into this episode. Please let us know your thoughts. We want to actually, like, you need to let us know. This is a hard one to talk about, but we're curious what you guys think. So if you've seen it, let us know your thoughts. But otherwise, we'll see you back here next Wednesday.
Peace.